Well, good morning, Transplant community. My name is Jim Merle, and today I want to pause for just a moment to talk to you a little bit about the flu shot, and how likely you are to be contagious after you've had the flu. Okay, now that's a few things that probably we do talk about often, but then some things I don't think we've ever brought up here on the program. So I thought it would be good if we could stop and do that today. Now, first off, let's talk about the flu shot, okay? It is required by most of our transplant teams, probably all really, but it's required by most of our transplant teams that you and I, as transplant patients, immunosuppressed patients, go ahead and get that flu shot every single year for the rest of our lives. And I know there are a lot of people out there who have problems with the flu shot, who say the flu shot is ineffective, who say the flu shot is dangerous, that sort of thing. There's a whole side of things that we could be looking at that we're not going to today concerning those type of issues. But at the end of the day, round it all out, we as transplant patients, we're being asked or maybe even required to get the flu shot. And compliance to our teams is one of the most important things we have to do as we go through this life. So let me encourage you, if you're a transplant patient, for the most part, don't argue with your transplant team, okay? Do your own research, do your own study, but don't argue with your transplant team. Just go get your flu shot, okay? It's probably going to be better for you, because even the general public, those who have great immune systems, still sometimes catch the flu, and we being immunosuppressed, we're just that much more likely to do the same. Okay, so that's about the flu shot. Please get your flu shot, and by the way, not only do you need to get it, but everyone in your household need to get it too, so you can kind of build that little bubble, that barrier around you as far as that goes. And in addition to that, you realize that, yeah, if it's flu season, that's the time when most likely we're going to need to be washing up, masking up, and maybe even gloving up in some situations. If you're going to be in larger crowds, or if you're going to be around someone, which I would probably avoid if I could, but if you know you might be around someone who has the flu, say in a doctor's office, or say in a really public situation like a mall, probably be a good idea to wash up, mask up, glove up. You know, be a weirdo if you have to. You don't want to get sick, okay? So with that said, yeah, you probably need to get your flu shot. But I want to make you aware of a few things concerning the flu shot, some of which you may have heard before in other places, but I personally never discussed it with you. And the main thing comes up right now in talking about the effectiveness of the flu shot. How effective is the flu shot really? And is it worth getting? Well, let me give you some honest statistics, okay? Just straight up honest statistics. Now, there have been tons of studies done. You can hit Google on your phone or on your PC, your Mac, whatever, and you can Google all day long and find out these types of things. But there are tons of statistics out there, and the main brunt of them all tell us that yes, the flu shot can be somewhat, and keep carefully watching what I'm doing, somewhat ineffective, okay? And that comes up for several different reasons. Number one, and mainly, what is being done to create the flu shot for, say, 2018 or 19 or 20 or whatever year it's being used for. Basically, they're taking a pool and a poll of what happened last year, what strains were available, what mutations they came across. They're taking that information and then giving it their best guess as to what strain of the flu might hit the general population on next year, or maybe a couple of strains. And they have to target a very, very specific strain or strains, just very limited at least amount of flu types, and then next year hope that that's going to be the flu type, and then that the vaccine is going to work against it and effectively trying to stop it. Now, with that said, keep in mind again, there are literally millions probably of mutations of flu types that are out there that are available. And so, yeah, admittedly, they're kind of taking a shot in the dark as to how effective the flu shot could even potentially be. And so that's why we've had years when, in spite of us being vaccinated heavily, in spite of those situations, we've had years where it seemed like it just didn't work. And the truth is, it didn't work because they missed it, okay? They missed that strain. That's all a prediction. It's a statistical type thing. Hey, it's hard to do. I got to give them that. But let me add something to that. In addition to the fact that they're shooting in the dark for this, and that's just the best we can do. Thank you folks who are researching it. Thanks for trying. But in addition to that, the actual real boiled down statistics, okay? And you can find this on CDC websites. Other sources also quote this as well. Doubt you'll find it on a flu shot manufacturer's resource, however. But when you boil down the actual statistics, your likelihood of receiving the flu, if you get the flu shot versus if you do not, are only different. Is that the right? They're only set apart from each other by 3%. You see that right there? That's 1, 2, 3. There's only a 3% difference in who catches the flu, whether you were vaccinated or not. Now, with that said, let me disclaim that. That study is based on what they would call the normal immunity, okay? People with average to normal immunity, there's only a 3% difference. So what's really being said there is, let's say, for example, you got two people with normal immunity sitting side by side in an office. One of them did take the flu shot. One of them did not. There's only a 3% more likelihood that the one who did not is going to get the flu versus the one who did, okay? So 3% difference between the did nots and the dids, okay? Now, you say to that, well, you know, it's not worth it then. Forget it. If it's only going to decrease my risk of catching flu by 3%, I don't want to get it. Well, hold up, okay? I'm talking about differences here. I'm talking about effectiveness here, okay? You've got to keep in mind that these studies, the majority of them, are being done on people with semi-normal, again, well, that's relative, but normal immune systems, okay? So if the people with normal immune systems are going to be 3% more or less likely to get it with or without the shot, we've got to keep in mind, again, you are transplant patient, cancer patient, people with immune diseases. I can't get that out right now, but we are much more susceptible to catching anything, whether it's the flu itself, whether it's a general cold, viruses, bugs, you know, just the nastiness that's out there. We are more susceptible to catching that to begin with, okay? So with that being said, if I'm immune suppressed, then it's more likely I'm going to catch anything that comes around. It's also going to be very good for me if I get the flu shot, because I want to add that 3% to it. Even if it's just 3, I want that 3% increase. I want to lessen the likelihood of me catching the flu, or as they oftentimes add, you know, the doctors try to disclaim this stuff too. They say, well, you may catch it, but it may not be as bad. And that's a lot of times what they'll say. If you end up taking the flu shot and then later catching the flu, they say, well, you know, you don't know how bad it would have been if you hadn't had the flu shot. And I don't know if that's true or not, but hey, I'm going to do what I can to keep myself. Now, with that said, there are some things that are as important, maybe even more important to us than getting the flu shot itself, and that is being sure that we're keeping our bodies healthy, particularly our guts healthy, okay? Eating the right foods, tons of fruits, vegetables, that sort of thing. Drinking plenty of water, catching just enough sodium in that water to keep us, you know, keep our electrolytes up. Taking care of our bodies is as important, if not way more so, than getting a shot, okay? Because all the shot is doing is trying to prepare your body's real, normal, your immune system to fight off the flu bug when it gets there, okay? So if your body is already at a disadvantage because of a poor diet and lack of these things, you're going to get the flu anyway. And if you get it, it's going to be bad, or as my kids would say, badder anyway, okay? Or worser. You don't want that. So keep a healthy diet, okay? Be sure to do that, especially during the winter months, during flu season. Now, in addition to that, supplements can help. Supplements like vitamin C, we're all aware of that. Everybody says you need vitamin C during flu season. Vitamin D is even much more important. I need to stop and do a whole episode about vitamin D. Vitamin D is probably much more important to your immune system, really, than vitamin C itself. You're getting vitamin D. And then getting calcium that allows that vitamin D, calcium and vitamin D work together to bond and to do their job. But getting those three elements, or minerals, vitamins, if you will, in your body, that's important. So vitamin C, vitamin D, and calcium, very important to your immune system. And tons of sleep, getting good night's rest, extremely important to your immune system. So I'm saying to you, whether you take the flu shot or not, and your transplant team will recommend that you do, you still need to be healthy. You need to eat right, sleep right, and take the right things. Now, with that said, another disclaimer I have to give you is don't start anything. I don't care if it's vitamin C, even the most basic over-the-counter vitamin or supplement. Don't start that without letting your transplant team know, because it can kind of knock off some of your other meds. And you don't want to get your Prograf levels, tacrolimus levels, you know, other levels, Seremus, whatever you're on, you don't want to get that out of whack because you started a new vitamin that they didn't know about, and it just got things out of balance. It's not necessarily hurting you. It just means that if you're going to take this medicine over here, these supplements, you may need to go up or down on this medicine to keep things in balance. So keep that in mind. Now, with that said, last part here, be aware that people are much more contagious than they think they are, okay? A lot of times you'll see people who they've got a cold, they got a flu. The next day, they're back at work, they're back at school. My kids' schools, which are actually behind me, I've just dropped my kids off. My kids' schools require that if your child is sick and they run a fever, they cannot come to school for 24 hours, okay? 24 hours fever-free, so that's their policy. Regardless of what the sickness was, that's what they have to do. However, you need to really be counting that up, okay? Because if you're running a fever, say at noontime, or like a lot of times fevers hit in the afternoon, just because you had, say, 101-degree fever at 4 o'clock in the afternoon doesn't mean when you wake up in the morning that you're going back to work, because that's not even 24 hours, okay? That's not 24 hours. 24 hours is obviously common sense. The next day at the same time, see? So they need to be able to work longer than they think. But in addition to that, that's with pretty much anything. The common cold and the flu are two different things, okay? They're related, yeah, they're symptomatically related, but they're different. And so if you got the flu virus can be active, live, and contagious for 10 to 14 days, okay? And that includes the day before you become symptomatic. So you've already caught it, it's floating around, it's working you, but you're not symptomatic yet. You're contagious the day before and up to 10 to 14 days after. So that person who says, oh, I'm all better, I'm not running a fever, I'm not aching anymore, I feel better, and they're back at work, hey, when they sneeze and they cough, you're a goner, okay? Because they're still carrying that bug and they're still contagious. Now, I'm not sure you can force them to stay away from you for that long, but it means you've got to be taking your precautions. And you got to be begging these people that you're around, please don't catch a cold or get the flu on Monday or Tuesday and then come see me on Wednesday. Not going to work. Stay away. Keep that barrier. That's what we need to do. Now, with that said, I won't even recap today. Hopefully you heard all that. If not, you know how to run this back a little bit and watch it again if you need to. I hope that this helps you out in some way. If it does, how about give me a big thumbs up on this video just to encourage me that, yeah, this is the kind of content that I want to have. And let me remind you also, if you're not already a Transplant Helper Insider, which is something I've just started, if you're an insider, then you need to go ahead and join up. Hit the link below this video. Look for the Transplant Insider link. Look for that and go ahead and join up. And you'll be a part of my insider group and you'll get a lot of perks, okay? Free benefits and perks just for being an insider. But if you're not already a subscriber, hit that bell notification and subscribe button beneath this video, and let's keep doing this thing together, okay? Until next time, I hope this was helpful. Stay stronger, friends.